Welcome on in to what is, for me at least, a remote episode of the Skolcial Network. Brev, I don't think you're anywhere special. I think you're just at home.
Nope, Fredericksburg, Virginia. Beautiful old.
Great, great tourism slogan. I am in Golden, Colorado for my sister-in-law's wedding,
Oh,
whose
Coors
wedding
Light.
starts. Yes, actually,
Mm,
correct. I've had like five of those so far. I've been here 24
nice.
hours. Ironically, the wedding starts exactly at the same time the Vikings kick off. But the good news is Sam Darnold's starting, so hopefully the defense kind of sucks on time of possession, and JJ McCarthy doesn't go until I'm on my way to the reception. But it sounds like he's going to play a lot. We're going to talk about things to watch in tomorrow's game, but first we kind of had to change a little bit, at least for me. I don't know what you had in mind, Brev, as far as who I was going to talk about to watch, because Andrew Booth just got traded to the Cowboys.
Oh no! Oh no!
Really? That's about
Yeah, sorry.
all you can manage?
No, yeah. It's like it sucks. It's a bad draft pick, even though that was the right pick at the time. So I can't like you can be mad about the Lucine thing with the trade down. The Andrew Booth thing is like, all right. I mean, that was the pretty obvious selection at that time.
Well, even then, he was projected in a lot of mock
He was
drafts to go to
projected
us
earlier.
at
Yeah.
number 12.
Yeah, pretty early on, yeah. And then he kind of his injury concerns kind of tanked him a little bit, but yeah, I the only good thing and it's a drop in the bucket of good because the Andrew Booth everything about Andrew Booth in Minnesota is a huge disappointment and a letdown, and I hope he can get some revival in Dallas, I guess, under Mike Zimmer, funnily enough. Um,
Yeah.
the drop in the bucket of good is he lasted 2 years, and Quasi was like, "Okay, this isn't gonna work. Let's get something back for him." Um, I think it is a little bit of an indictment too on the cornerback room that you're getting a cornerback back for a cornerback.
That was
So
beautiful. It's almost
thank
like
you.
you returned to Twitter recently and tweeted that before
Yeah.
this episode.
Wow. You keep an eye on it. Are my notifications on for you?
No, I just was, you texted me
Mm,
and I had immediately went on. I was at lunch to check, and then I just kind of reopened my phone, and you're the first one that pops up, baby
yeah.
girl.
Well, I guess I'm turning off your notifications. So with that all being said, drop in the bucket of good. Quasi cut bait early, and again, that is the smallest drop of like, oh, congrats, he cut a player that obviously sucks. Yeah, but you see a lot of corner or not corners. You do see a lot of corners. You see a lot of general managers and head coaches and front offices kind of hesitant to cut ties and admit
They
defeat
hang
on
on too
their
long.
yeah. And with Booth, I mean, he must have. I didn't see much from him at camp, but he must have been awful to not even make the preseason, or he displayed some displeasure because I remember what a week or two ago there's an interview with him and he was just like he was so
Weird.
disconnected. It's like he
Weird.
knew. I don't know. Maybe he never
Yeah, it was,
sat
the
right with
vibes
Brian
were
Flores.
really off.
Yep.
Well, I saw uh Luke Braun, I think, shared a take, which is like, hey, lost in all of this is the fact that like this regime didn't draft him. Obviously, Quasi and KOC did, but it was really for Donatel's defense, which it was all about. Get to the ball, not necessarily risk it all to stop the ball, like Flores is. Um,
And I kind of
and
disagree
so
with that.
I think that's fair, but I do like the scapegoat of this is Ed Donatel's fault.
I mean, yeah, it makes me feel better as a Vikings fan. You're
Yeah,
like, yeah, let's blame him. But like, if you're
I can't
because he
blame Quasi for this at
for
all.
the for
Not with
Andrew
Brev.
Booth alone, I give Quasi leeway. But when you bring in the entire 2022 draft class like Luke did, love Luke, great guy. We can disagree and still be respectful about it. Lewis Seen is much more of a Brian Flores player than Ed Donatel. So
Yeah.
that's where I'm like, I don't really think either Booth or Seen fit Donatel's defense nearly as much as they did Flores.
Yeah, I get that. I think I mean I'm already seeing this. I think I was on Twitter for a total like 5 minutes after lunch before we recorded, but um, people like there's without getting too far into the details or speculating on why people may be this way, as some people get into arguments on Twitter, there is a group that continuously looks to pick on every move Kwesi makes. I think a lot of people who are more in the middle, who would criticize him or give him credit as they felt deserved, have been singing his praises this offseason for the most part, because he's executed his plan well. I'm curious to see how those people react to this because for me, I think to your point, the Lewis Scene thing is an egregious pick. Whoever's call it was our in all honesty, we're lucky Jamison Williams hasn't amounted to anything.
Hmm.
Um, but this was an obvious pick. Like I said earlier, he was projected in most mock drafts to go to the Vikings at 12 if they were to stick and pick. We ended up getting him in the second, which is why in those first two rounds at the time, I really liked that draft. I liked getting a first round talent at a later spot and getting additional trade value, but it's one of those things where you can have all the talent in the world. I don't want to read too much into somebody I don't know, but maybe it is. Like you said, he seemed a little checked out. Was that because of
He
the
did.
situation he was in? Is that just maybe his mentality? Who knows? I trust Kevin and Kwesi to get a read on their people because the number one thing for them is that locker room synergy, whatever corporate word you want to throw in their
Hmm.
culture. And if he wasn't fitting it and contributing to the team, then I think it was the right call. And at the end of the day, no harm, no foul to me.
Yeah, and I want to be fair to Booth too, because he is acting weird, but it could totally be unrelated. Just
100%.
he could have been mentally checked because of the offseason that the Vikings have had, especially in the cornerback room, is a
Yeah,
pretty awful one.
it's
So,
true.
and with that being said, and then if you want to be super technical about it, you can kind of tie this pick in to the trade down from 12 because we traded down again from 34, which is a pick that we got passed up on Christian Watson, which I like Christian Watson. He hasn't reached his potential, of course, and like George Pickens. You
Did you
passed up on
know
them.
he has a higher ceiling than Justin Jefferson, according
Oh
to
my God.
Packers? I think
Yeah.
was that Bruce Irons
Bruce
tweeted that?
Irons. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. Uh,
man.
I see what he was going for, but it's like, okay.
I don't.
Um,
I
yeah.
don't.
No, Christian Watson is probably more physically gifted. I think that he was doing a very bad job saying that. And that's just because Christian Watson is like, what, 6'3", 6'4", and really fast. I think that's what he was. I don't necessarily agree with it. I think that's what he was trying to say, and that at least is like there's a leg to stand on. But his ceiling as a football player is not higher than Justin Jefferson. That's ridiculous.
You
I'm.
saved yourself. You were digging a hole there for a
Oh no, no,
second,
yeah.
and you politicked your way out of it a little bit. So
I,
I don't have to physically assault you on the
Christian
podcast.
Watson is more physically gifted technically than Justin Jefferson. That's just a fact.
I've never seen him make a single catch at the height that Justin Jefferson has and handle a hit. That's physical giftedness
Yeah,
in
that's
pro
true.
football.
That's
Holding onto
fair.
the ball after having your head slammed into by Kirby IR Joseph and doing the
Yep.
things he's done, like that is I don't care about size or speed. He has both of those things. Well, not so much size, but his toughness, like anyways, now we're everything
Yeah.
turns into Justin Jefferson. I love this
Mm-hmm.
2024 Vikings team.
Yeah.
But
I mean, that is the 2024 Vikings team. Is
yeah,
Justin.
the interesting part here is obviously the timing with Mark Wolf saying that there's no extensions. A little surprising for either Kwesi or Kevin. I personally feel like Kevin's earned his keep, and I wouldn't be shocked if they haven't already kind of verbally said like just don't dive bomb something this year and you'll be back. Um, do you think this negatively impacts the positive strides Kwesi may have made this offseason, or do you think it was actually a net positive for him to cut bait with somebody who just wasn't going to work out?
Well, if you know the Wolves, you know the Wolves like to win now.
Oh yeah,
So
we've won so much
yeah, they have never been in the tank of or and what they've
in
never
the tank
been.
tank.
Yeah, they've never been one. They've never been in the tank crowd. They don't want to lose, even if it's very obviously better for your future. Um, I don't like. I'm sure the Wolves look at this and they go like, "Oh, this like whatever. He sucks. It happens." I do think it's a little weird that they're just outright like, "Yeah, we haven't talked at all about
Yeah.
anything." I don't know if they're just trying to like hide it for no reason, or maybe it's as simple as they're gonna see how JJ McCarthy looks. I think that might be. I don't want to say it'd be unfair for only doing that after a year, because nowadays, and I'm not just saying because of Stroud, like the days of, oh, you need 3 years to tell if a quarterback is gonna be good. Those days are gone
I don't
for the
know
most part.
because there's a lot of different opinions about Bryce Young,
Yeah,
and a lot of people can't seem to decide if he's going to be a complete bust or if it was entirely on
I think
extenuating
by
circumstances.
I think by halfway through this season, we will be able to tell if Bryce Young is going to be good.
Yeah.
Like he could be bad this year and still be like serviceable in the NFL. But in terms of like being a really really good quarterback, if you're a really really good quarterback, you show it early. Other than Jordan Love because he was behind Aaron Rodgers, and that's the only reason why.
Yeah, and he still hasn't shown it.
Oh, well, nice one. Good one.
Here's a hypothetical situation. Let's say the Vikings do what we think there's maybe a 20 to 30% chance of them doing. Sneak into the playoffs in a year where nobody expects them to do much in a competitive NFC North. Let's say these rumors about Nick Sirianni and Jalen Hurts, I'm getting real detailed in my hypothetical, so bear with me, having a massive falling out are true, and the Eagles collapse, and the Cowboys just run away with that division. Let's say there's a opening round matchup of Minnesota at Dallas with both Mike Zimmer and Andrew Booth out for revenge.
Hmm.
It's a spicy storyline there.
And Andrew Booth coming off an All Pro season shuts down
Yeah,
Justin
Justin Jefferson.
Jefferson. Nashawn Wright watches on from the sidelines as the Vikings finally force a Cowboys three and out, and he trots out to the field to be a punt gunner.
It's funny because instead of the hypothetical of like Justin Jefferson like scoring 8 touchdowns on him in that game or something, we're wise enough to know if that were to come true, we just know how the script is already written against us. Best part
Very
about
true.
being a Vikings fan, you just go in expecting disappointment and you end up either being totally okay or very, very pleasantly surprised. Just
Yeah.
kidding. I'm always never okay watching the Vikings. My mental health is just absolutely crushed. But let's talk about tomorrow. So Kevin O'Connell was playing it a little tight to the vest up until yesterday, sharing his plan for the starters. We still don't have a ton of details other than Darnold will play some. McCarthy is expected to get a heavy workload, and that Justin Jefferson and Harry won't play. That's awesome for Justin Jefferson. He's so damn
Hmm.
good. He's earned the same off day privileges of a 12-year NFL veteran. Good
Hmm.
for him, man. Um, what are your thoughts as far as just the quarterback situation? Do you read anything into Darnold playing? Do you think, it makes sense, it's a new system? Or do you think maybe, as I may have alluded to on the interwebs, it might be the slightest of hints that the door of JJ McCarthy having a chance to start in week one isn't completely bolted shut?
First of all, I want to say, how crazy is it that we're here
We're here, baby.
tomorrow? Like the season is not here, but it's here. Like it feels like we were just like, oh man, the draft is in a month, like a month ago, and we have
Once the
now,
draft happens and then you
yeah,
get through really May and June, it
hmm,
is you're back.
yep. We JJ McCarthy and Dallas Turner have been Vikings for almost 4 months. That is wild to me. Um, but I think it makes complete sense that Sam Darnold is playing and that he would start the first couple drives just because I don't know if there's more to it. There could be more to it because, again, they're not shutting the door on the quarterback competition being decided. But um, yeah, Darnold starting makes plenty of sense. Like Josh Allen is starting tomorrow, so
Yeah, I think teams are kind of moving away from the whole like don't play your starters thing
hmm
because I think if I remember correctly, the Bills got off to kind of a slow start last year too.
it seems like so it used to be like week one you didn't play many when they had 4 games. Like
So week three was the
they
big
start
game.
playing more, but now it's like it's reversing. I swear, I could be completely wrong. But that's just what it seems
Yeah,
like.
it seems like if your starters are going to play at all, it's week one,
hmm
and then yeah, I think it's just because of the focus on player health, which don't get me wrong, like a lot of people bash and think it's ruining the game, and I think when you watch footage from like 2009, 2010, like you could tell there's different levels of like different I don't say levels, different types of play and intensity. Now it's about speed and finesse. Back then it was just hit everybody.
Yep.
Um, but I think that one of the good things is just you want to prevent your players from getting injured. And so Justin Jefferson not playing, I agree with. Maybe Darnold or whoever becomes the starter only playing the first or second game for a little bit, I'm okay with. As long as they have control and command of the offense. That's all that matters.
Yeah, I mean, hold on. I didn't put my phone on do not disturb. Yeah, no, I agree. Did it? Is everybody else playing other than JJ and?
He said maybe a couple others. I would assume if Aaron Jones plays, it would be like a drive, especially with his
Yeah.
age and injury history. I wouldn't be shocked if he doesn't play at all.
This
I
is
would
one of those
prefer if he didn't.
things. Like, it doesn't have to be this week, obviously, but the team is just so different that, like, outside of the offensive line, maybe I feel like everybody should get. I'm not saying everybody should play the whole game or even half the game, but like,
They have to gel together.
yeah, Jones should get a quarter. Like Addison could get away with not playing a quarter. Um, I don't know. I just Darnold, I would even like give a quarter to, and then honestly, you give McCarthy the rest of the game, which I know they
Yeah.
won't do. I know they'll bring in Mullins late in the third or
Oh, they won't.
Jaron
Mullins
Hall.
isn't playing.
Oh, that's right. So Jaron Hall will come in. That'll be
I
fun.
think we're gonna trade Mullins. I think we're gonna do right by him, take him to a place he could really be QB too. Because I'll be honest, there's a lot of teams that that would gladly take absolute chaos agent like him at QB2 right now.
Yeah, they. I want to keep Mullins, but like you don't have to do right by him, but you have to weigh, is it worth having a sixth round pick when you don't have any picks in this draft, or is it more worth it to have an emergency quarterback, like break in case of emergency, whatever the saying is.
Yeah, that could be Jaron Hall, worst case.
Oh God,
He had one good drive against the Falcons
that
before
drive
then
was
knocking himself
awesome.
out.
That drive was so awesome.
I was watching that at the NASCAR Cup Series championship race.
Nice.
Fun times. Well, let's talk about players to watch. So one of my guys I was going to say, and these could be guys, Brev, you and I were talking before, but just for the viewers, um, either it's like who do we think's going to have a really great game potentially, who needs to have a great game, like who's on the bubble and needs to show out and why. Um, my one of mine was going to be Andrew Booth. That's obviously changed. But I think I'll just take one off the plate for us. I mean, obviously the real answer is JJ McCarthy.
Yeah.
That's why everyone's watching.
Yeah, I mean, I really don't know if I'd watch. Call me a fake fan. That if I don't know if I'd watch if JJ McCarthy wasn't playing tomorrow.
In all fairness, I've had reason to watch the last few years because I wanted to see like what could Kellen Mond do?
Yep.
What's Jaron Hall gonna do? But those were always like very, very long shot. Just see what happens. JJ McCarthy, this is gonna have crazy to say, but like actual consequences for the franchise.
Mm-hmm.
I tweeted earlier, this is the first time a preseason game has truly mattered in exactly, not to the day, but exactly 2014, 10 years ago with Teddy Bridgewater. For having a
Yeah.
first round quarterback take their first live NFL action is really important. Just look at the Patriots last night. Drake May, two handoffs and a couple checkdowns, and now everyone's saying start Joe Milton. So
Yeah.
JJ McCarthy better show up. I think he will. Um, but yeah, that's the obvious choice.
Yeah.
That's who's going to get eyes on that game.
Fun stat, in case you didn't know, I'm sure you did. but the Vikings haven't won a preseason game since 2019.
Yeah. We
It's
also
been
haven't won a
5 years.
Super Bowl since 2019. So maybe if we
True.
win a preseason game, that'll, coincide.
Well, no, we beat the Packers this year.
Oh, you're right. Well, we beat them at least
Mm,
once every year, but then they usually defeat us in the second Super Bowl every year.
that is true. So we're pretty
We usually
500 in
split the
Super
Super
Bowls.
Bowl.
Yeah,
But yeah, that's kind of how it works.
I'll
All right,
take
so
it.
who's your first player to watch tomorrow? Who are you keeping your eyes on
Well,
for good or potentially bad reasons?
now I'm looking at Lewis Seen because if you think, and again that might be an easy one, but with the context now that Andrew Booth is gone, Andrew Booth was a much more useful player than Lewis Seen. Where like does Lewis Seen? I
Play?
Does he play? Does he make it to tomorrow? Is he getting cut tonight? Like you don't make all these decisions like one after another on the same day, but Andrew Booth, like Lewis Cine has been useless. No offense to Lewis Cine, great guy, I'm sure, but like in a football sense, he's been completely useless. He's played 10 defensive snaps since he got drafted.
Yep.
Um, so the fact that Booth, same draft class, picked 12 picks later, just got traded for another hope in the wind. Lewis Cine's got to show out. And like there's no reports of him doing much of anything in training camp. Like he's got to have one of the greatest preseasons of all time, or he's not making it to next week. I would think. So I don't know. I guess I'm gonna watch Lewis Cine just for the memes at this point. I don't know. It's like that safety room, and the safety room is way deeper than the corner room is.
Yeah.
Andrew Booth just got ousted of one of the worst corner rooms in the NFL. Lewis Cine is on the outside looking in of the best safety room in the NFL. So
That is potentially, you know what? I was gonna say that's hyperbolic, but if Theo Jackson can be even a shell of what people have reported him to be this camp, I think you're right.
well, I think Smith, Bynum, Metellus is the best top three safeties. Easy. Oh, maybe
Yeah.
I'll say fuck it. I'll freak it. I'll say easily. I don't say
Yeah.
that much. I don't say that often.
No, I actually think that's fair. I think they're definitely better. I That's the same argument I make with people saying that our defense is screwed. Hell yeah, brother. Without Daniil Hunter, where yes, you lost a top talent at the position, but the room as a whole is better now, from
Yes.
top to bottom. I'm gonna say so far a star from training camp that I'm very interested to see in a live football game for the first time in a while. Jalen Naylor has just been him and Lucky Jackson seem to be JJ's favorite targets in practice. He's just been burning people. I know I we went into this offseason assuming it was Brandon Powell's job to lose. I haven't really heard anything
Me neither.
positive or negative. I'm not
I
going to say like, "Oh, he's having a bad camp." I just haven't heard about Brandon
I
Powell at
forgot
all
Brandon
this
Powell
camp.
was on the team.
Yeah,
Like
I don't want to say like, oh, he's doing bad. I don't know. There's really not much out there.
I've seen a lot more Thayer Thomas, your boy,
Oh,
than
dude,
I've seen Brandon
I'm
Powell.
all hey, my Thayer Thomas agenda. A
Mm-hmm.
swaggy Adam Thielen story. Let's go, baby. Let's
Mm-hmm.
do the damn thing. But I think Jalen Naylor, I think Brandon Powell has his place in the offense, and it's not behind Nick Mullins' ass. Um,
Fair.
Especially on a third down and fourth down. Anyone who didn't watch that game or does not get that reference is extremely confused what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
You watch more ball, is all I'll
Mm-hmm.
say. But I will say that in my mind, Jalen Naylor is a much better wide receiver three option if he is healthy and plays at his potential. Not bashing Brandon Powell. It's just a size thing. I think Brandon Powell will have more than enough time to get into the offense. I think he'll have a lot of motion plays from the slot, jet sweeps, options like that where he makes a ton of sense. But I think if you really want to throw the ball downfield and spread out the defense, I think Jalen Naylor's the guy who's going to help you most if he can prove that this isn't a fluke.
Yeah. And the knock on Jalen Naylor has never been ability or talent. It has always been health.
Yep,
So yeah,
100%.
I'd agree. And I've been skeptical myself of Jalen Naylor just because it's like, okay, how many seasons in a row are we gonna do this with Jalen Naylor? But it seems like we're getting there. injury can happen at any moment, but maybe this is finally Jalen Naylor's time to shine.
Who's up next on your list? Sorry to speed you through. I have to go get ready for a rehearsal dinner soon.
I
So
know. With that being said, I'm going to sit here and think about it for a couple minutes. So
wonderful.
please hold.
This has been this week's episode.
Dallas Turner.
Oh, cheapo. That's such a low
Sorry, I know.
draft.
I mean, like, I'm not going to sit here and lie to you and be like, oh, I am so excited to see Miles Gaskin play tomorrow. I'm not. I want to see Dallas Turner play football. Oh
Yeah.
boy, AJ Green the third. Like, no, I want to see our
Yo,
first round
yo,
pick play.
chill.
Yeah, he had a cool
He had
interception.
a
Yeah,
sick interception.
awesome. Hang the banner. I really want to see Dallas Turner play football. I want to see him run somebody over. Do we play the Raiders every year in the preseason? By the way, I swear to
Not
God
last
we
year, I
do.
don't think. I think because we played him in the regular season.
I think I'm just remembering when we played them, Kellen
2 years ago.
Mond's rookie
No, it was
year.
2 years ago. No,
It was
maybe we
the
did. But
second
we
year.
played them. We played them Kevin O'Connell's first year too, and a week
That
later we
yeah,
traded for Nick Mullins.
because I remember watching that at work. So with us playing the Raiders like once before that, I can remember that automatically translated to, oh, we must play them every year since we played them this year too.
Basically, yeah.
Um, no, I want to see Dallas Turner lined up all across the line. I don't want to see, and I know defenses are going to be for the most part vanilla. We'll see how much of a psycho Brian Flores is going to be and see what he'll show in the preseason. But I want to see Dallas Turner run through some face. Pause.
He did say he just wants to go hit a quarterback. I did see
Mm-hmm.
one thing I'm interested with him is like everything seems to be that the only things he needs to fix are like small tendencies from the college game
Yeah.
as far as how he gets contain. I did see a video of him giving up contain and Darnold step like he just went so far outside
Mm-hmm.
of his man that he got behind Darnold and Darnold just stepped up into the pocket or into the gap, I guess. But like obviously in college you contain a little different because you're going against a lot of fluky offenses and spreads and things like that. So I think if he can get that down, his physical talent looks great. Um, but I'm definitely interested to see what he does. I don't know how much who are they starting at quarterback tomorrow? Minshew or O'Connell?
I would think they'd start Minshew, but we'll probably see a lot of Aiden O'Connell.
Yeah, it makes sense. So whoever he gets a chance to hit, go knock their mustache off, because to the best of my knowledge, both those gentlemen still have mustaches.
It's a good saying.
I'm uh I'm debating between the last two.
I have an honorable mention that I think might be
Okay,
one of your two. I'm not going to say it now, obviously, but
okay, I'm gonna go with the second option because I think that I don't want to let you steal my honorable mention, and I think my second option is who you think I'm gonna say that you have as an honorable mention.
okay.
Because you know me and you know who I'm excited about. Will Reichard is gonna
Fuck.
be my
God
second
damn
one. You made me
it.
change my
Yeah.
answer live on
Yeah,
air
I
because I
know.
had a different one that will now be my honorable mention. But it's a chess game, baby. Hey, we live a country apart, but you and me, man.
Hmm.
Will Reichard, it was funny because he's been like perfect in camp. He had that
Yep.
58-yard field goal that looked like it could have gone 70,
Oh
75.
my god. Easy.
Yeah, it was
Minimum.
insane. And then John Parker Romo gets cut one morning, gets sent home. That afternoon, Reichard ends practice by missing 2 out of 3 field goals, and
Hmm.
everyone's now hitting the panic button, being like, "Oh my God! Now that he's officially kicker one, everything's going to hell." He's been clutch since then. Am I gonna sit there and be like, "Oh yeah, man, I'm watching a preseason game for the kicking"? A little bit, yeah. I mean,
Yes.
that's a weird sentence to say, but we've been piecing together the kicker position since Blair Walsh. Um, and even before that, we had been piecing it together. You just turn on one of your buddies log on
Yeah,
it's
they
college
keep
football.
appearing. Yeah.
Yeah. That noise can awaken a generation of nerds. But one even before then, Ryan Longwell. I can't think of a true franchise kicker we've drafted. I could think of two guys who could have been that in Blair Walsh if he didn't go downhill after missing that kick, and then obviously Daniel Carlson if Mike Zimmer had even the slightest amount of patience or ability to develop players not on defense.
3 years of
Um,
Blair Walsh.
Yeah, but I am excited to see well record. I would very much like to have a kicker who can consistently hit kicks and PATs and not. I don't want JJ McCarthy to ever be in the situations Kirk Cousins had to be, where every game they should have been up by one, but instead it's the fourth quarter and they're tied or down by one. Um, I don't want to see him having to play that way because of
It's,
missed PATs.
it's raining so hard. Yeah, no, you're right. Man, poor Kirk. Oh, must suck. Poor guy.
I know. I hope he's getting compensated for his trouble.
Yeah. Who's your first choice? Or
So am I
that?
just going to go into my honorable mention? Okay, I'll look
Yeah,
on a snake drafted. Brian Asamoah.
that's a good one.
Again,
Um,
2022 draft class.
yeah,
It's like put up or shut up. I think Ty Chandler makes the team. I
yeah.
think, oh God, Ryan Wright might get cut too, because apparently Seth
S-
Vernon was having a clutch camp, at least for
So
a little bit.
that was gonna
Yeah.
be my new honorable mention after you took Will Reichard was the punting battle between Wright and Seth Vernon because I assume they'll go. One will start, the other will.
Wait. Is
I
there
would
a
think.
chance that the only two players from the 2022 draft class left end up being Jalen Naylor and Ty Chandler?
Ed Ingram. Still, that's still.
Yeah, I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not. I forgot
I,
about Ed Ingram. I try to forget about him every day. But yeah, that is
Caleb Evans.
okay. Never mind. It's not as bad as two
Yeah.
guys,
It's still
literally
awful.
the two people who I just try to forget exist
Yeah.
on our team. No disrespect. You guys can come on anytime, but
No, you can't.
not really. No. But no. All. Hey, go have a good season, but please just play football and stay off Snapchat.
Yeah.
Anyways, with that in mind, very interesting group of players left over, and I would be willing to say both of those guys are left on the team more out of necessity than anything else.
I would honestly, it's not just because of my strong dislike for Caleb Evans. I'm surprised Booth got let go before him. I mean, I am, but I'm not
I think he's
because,
better. I think a Caleb's better.
yeah, I like what a Caleb can do. Kind of, again, I've said it a million times, but like he reminds me of Cam Dantzler with the way he attacks the ball behind the line. But like, and again, because I'm the guy that champions, oh, don't pay attention to camp videos, people in the audience, whatnot. But like, all I saw was the Caleb Evans getting toasted. I didn't
Dude, that's
see a
all
good thing
receiver
about
was
him.
too. Yeah, that's all receiver was. I
Yep.
think I mentioned this last episode. I watched some of those episodes back. I'm like, all right, there goes George Kittle, and all right,
Hmm.
there goes Devontae Adams, like just running and running past him. Oh my
Yeah,
God.
it's gonna be rough. The Caleb Evans has lucked himself into another feature corner role, and I can't believe it. I won't say what happened for that to happen out of fear of me turning tragic situations into humor, but
Yeah.
I think we get what I'm saying.
No, literally, it's everything had to go certain ways for him to be in this position. I think I won't even use the word luck. I know you clarified, but just to avoid
Yeah.
hinting that that's what that is. But I think if the corner room was how we thought it would look a month and a half ago, he is not in this position.
Mm. No, I think he might still make the team, but he's corner 6 or 7.
5, 6, yeah,
If
because that is three
yeah.
corners who were very much projected to be ahead of him on the depth chart, who
Hmm.
will not be.
Yep.
Yeah, Vikes fans, we have been some of us went through hell at the beginning of the offseason letting go of Kirk Cousins. Some of us saw the vision. Brent? Why did I call you Brent? Brev. I have no. Oh, my coworker Brent texted me
Mm.
earlier today. Why
Mm.
did I call you Brent? It's because I forgot who you were because I was trying to record. I was sitting in this recording room earlier this morning and
Mm.
Brev was
Oh yeah.
oversleeping.
Now
So
you're
I just
gonna
had forgotten
spin
who you were.
this. It's
But,
crazy.
anyways, but Brev, went through hell with his little draft insider cosplay.
Hmm.
I went through hell watching quarterback be taken at the draft in Minnesota before we found our king, and then wondering what we were going to do at the time. I think we were at what 21, 23. We traded up 17. What was our
23 up
original
to
pick?
17. Yeah.
23. Yeah. And then just joy, excitement, followed by the last month, a lot of pain, and then
Yeah.
followed by a lot of promise with these quarterbacks and how they're performing at camp. We've had a lot of ups and downs, but tomorrow the Minnesota Vikings play football. Yes, it's a preseason game, but football is happening at US Bank Stadium. JJ McCarthy is putting on a Vikings jersey for something other than a photo shoot,
Hmm.
right? Like an actual on-field jersey, not talking about the red jerseys. We made it. Brev and I have said from the beginning, it ain't about 2024. Great things could happen in 2024, but this is officially, I think it's fair to say, Brev, tomorrow kicks off a new era that we're going to see unfold over the next 2 to 3 years, maybe longer, hopefully
For
longer.
better, for worse. The most consequential era of Minnesota Vikings football begins.
I've noticed something.
Uh-oh.
Every 4 years, every election is the most important election of all times, and every three
Yeah.
to 4 years, every Viking season is now the most important season.
Yeah, that
Because
lines up.
2018, and then it was 2020, weirdly enough,
Hmm. It's kind of
because
like
it was like, oh,
how
you won a playoff game last year. You got rid of Diggs, but you have this Jefferson kid. You guys should be great. And then everything went to shit with COVID, and life kind of happened. And then it was, all right, 2021, you better come back, make the playoffs. And then last year we had expectations, and yeah, it's just every couple of years.
it's like how
Oh,
every Mike Zimmer was only good in odd years.
those were fun, dude. Those odd
2015 won the
years.
division, 2017 NFC Championship, 2019 won a playoff game. Everything else was awful.
Those were fun years, dude. Well, that's not true because 2021 he got fired.
Fair. Yeah, I wasn't including that.
He was so good it overcorrected the scales.
Yeah.
But with that, we just want to say thank you guys. I know as I'm leaning over to turn off the banner, not having a desk is very interesting. I'm sitting in a very uncomfortable leather chair without a desk. I'm just have this on a board game on the mattress so that my computer doesn't catch fire. Um,
Mm.
but we want to thank you guys. We know the off season's a very fun time for speculation. It's also a very boring time once everything's been kind of figured out and you're just in that purgatory period. But thank you guys for sticking with us, Vikes Now. Um, go watch Brev's video, which I know was posted on Vikes Now, but it had the Skolcial logo on it.
Yeah, I just didn't change it.
Yeah, so I was like, I don't know if it's a Skolcial video,
No.
just bashing the top 100,
That
which I
video
think is legit.
flopped so
Yeah,
crazy.
go give him a watch. Go help him out.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make an announcement real quick because we foreshadowed it last week on the show. It's gonna be a little different, and Brev's gonna be in his feels because we're gonna start a new hashtag called Buy Brev a Car. Uh, Brev and I got an email inviting me and a plus one who was gonna be Brev to New York City by Fanatics to go to Fanatics Fest next week as their guest. Brev's car imploded, so he couldn't go. Um, I will be taking my friend who's a Vikings fan and making him just record me interviewing any Vikings fans we see. So Brev and I will figure out what Skolcial looks like next week. Maybe Brev will have a special co-host or just records solo Skolcial and just yell into the void about whatever happens tomorrow. But look out for some YouTube shorts. Can't believe I'm making those over the next week and a half or so. And other than that, use code BREV on SeatGeek or code JasonH on SeatGeek to save $20 off your first purchase. Go to the Vikings preseason game. If you do not have tickets and you are in the Twin Cities area, go watch JJ McCarthy tomorrow. What the heck are you doing? Go to SeatGeek.
So true.
So true. Very true. The
So true.
truest thing anyone has ever said.
So true.
That probably not true. I'm so excited for tomorrow and also absolutely terrified that everything goes wrong.
Good.
It very well could.
You could.
The Vikings have new turf, and I know the last turf we had wasn't incredibly great, but every time I see a team replace their turf, I'm afraid it's going
Whoa.
to turn into
Whoa.
the Cardinals stadium situation.
Whoa.
You're looking a little different there, Brev.
Whoa.
What did you do?
Okay. I don't know.
Once again, the Skolcial Network, the most high quality production podcast in the Vikings entertainment sphere. We'll see you guys next week. Skol Vikes. and Skull, specifically J.J. McCarthy, because we're stands.